Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In today's video, we're going to be doing some rankings, except instead of power, we're going to be ranking intelligence. Now, first things first, intelligence can be measured in a lot of ways. Someone might have a genius level IQ, but be completely inept at doing certain things or feeling certain ways, and so this is somewhat delicate territory. There's wisdom, accrued over many years of simply living life, cunning, academic smarts, and even emotional intelligence, with none of them necessarily being more important than the other. All of the characters in this list have their own unique strengths, so for the following rankings, all I'm going to try and do is determine how well-rounded these characters are. If someone is supremely wise but lacking in everything else, then they drop down, and the same goes for any other type of intelligence. I'd love to hear your top 10, so pause the video, comment your own top 10 below, then watch the rest and see how your list compared to mine. Without further ado, I present the top 10 most intelligent Harry Potter characters. Number 10, Remus Lupin. Remus Lupin was a British half-blood wizard born in the year 1960. Like most others, he attended Hogwarts, and it was there that he befriended the other members of the Marauders. At a very young age, Remus was attacked by a notorious werewolf, Fenrir Greyback, infecting him with lycanthropy. However, despite suffering from such a traumatic experience early on in his life, it certainly didn't stunt his development into a wise, caring, and talented man. Remus was a very talented wizard and was able to accomplish quite a lot magically at a very young age. Among other things, Remus was a talented duelist, charms expert, and defense against the dark arts master, having successfully taught a class on it at Hogwarts. Remus was one of the wisest mentors that Harry ever had, and I believe that his cunning, wisdom, knowledge makes him entirely deserving of a spot on this list. Number 9, Lily Evans. Lily Potter, born Lily Evans, was an English muggle-born witch born in the year 1960. Most notably, she was the mother of Harry Potter, and one of the main reasons for Voldemort's initial downfall. Lily excelled in school and quickly became widely recognized as an extremely powerful witch. In fact, Voldemort attempted to recruit Lily to the Death Eaters in spite of the fact that she was a muggle-born, a true testament to her abilities. Not only was she talented, she had an affinity for learning, and while Gryffindors can have that trait as well, I could totally see her in Ravenclaw. She performed well in all classes, potion making, charms, and even transfiguration. There wasn't much that could stop Lily. Her most notable and certainly most impressive accomplishment to date was her loving sacrifice, which allowed Harry Potter to live, simultaneously killing Voldemort for a time. Number 8, Sirius Black. Sirius, the godfather of Harry Potter and member of the Black family, started at Hogwarts in the year 1971. While many of his family members placed an unreasonable amount of value on blood purity, Sirius did not share this same belief. He was certainly wise beyond his years, and his ability to think for himself, rather than blindly following in the footsteps of his family, speaks to his character and intellect. Sirius, despite messing around while at school, still did exceptionally well, and the fact that he was able to get away with slacking off just tells us how smart Sirius really was. Imagine if he had applied himself. Unfortunately, Sirius's magical development was somewhat stunted by the extensive amount of time that he spent in Azkaban, but on the flip side, his high level of intelligence meant that he was still able to become a very powerful wizard. Number 7, Slughorn. Professor Horace Slughorn was a British wizard who worked at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Slughorn was a highly respected wizard who served as both potions master and head of Slytherin House. He was a brilliant man, and perhaps one of the most talented potioneers of his time. His downfall, however, was that he would often overlook people who weren't of value to him, that is, famous, exceptionally talented, or somehow important. Slughorn was a triple threat. He was cunning, wise, and book-smart. However, one of the biggest issues with Slughorn is of course that he shared some of this knowledge with Tom Riddle, ultimately inadvertently helping him to achieve Horcrux creation. Number 6, Luna Lovegood. Luna is a bit of a wild card here, and you may not have expected to see her, but Luna, whose mind was truly open to anything, left no stone unturned when it came to learning, and it's this curiosity that warrants her position on this list. Yes, she's often portrayed to be a bit loony, but Luna is deeply intelligent, always able to see the bigger picture, and never distracted by trivial things that may hinder someone else's intellectual development. She was a smart, quick thinker with an open mind and aptitude for solving complex puzzles. Number 5, McGonagall. Minerva McGonagall is a Scottish half-blood witch that attended Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and later worked there. Whilst she attended Hogwarts, she was the most talented student of her entire year, and she achieved top grades in her newts and owls. She exhibited extreme magical prowess from a very young age, and later became one of Hogwarts' best professors. McGonagall is just massively intelligent in every respect. Wise, book-smart, emotionally intelligent, she had it all. Number 4. Tom Riddle. Voldemort is undoubtedly one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful dark wizard in the entire Harry Potter universe. Born Tom Marvolo Riddle in 1926, Voldemort began attending Hogwarts in 1938 and was sorted into none other than Slytherin House. From a very young age, it was clear that Tom was special, a magical prodigy. He was able to utilize and control magic without the use of a wand, had the power to move objects with his mind, and was able to communicate with and control animals, all without any kind of magical training. He was a savant of magic, outperforming the feats of trained witches and wizards with no prior knowledge on the subjects. He excelled in school and was thought by all to be incredibly bright. In his life, he achieved many accomplishments thought previously impossible, most likely due to his innate magical ability and thirst for knowledge. Voldemort was massively cunning and could expertly use his intellect to manipulate people. However, the reason he isn't higher on the list is that sometimes he could be fairly short-sighted. He was also massively emotionally unintelligent. He was too preoccupied with achieving power that he would sometimes make foolish mistakes, and it's his lack of wisdom and emotional intelligence that prevents him from climbing higher. Number 3. Severus Snape. Severus Snape was born in the year 1960 to a Muggle father and witch mother. He began attending Hogwarts in 1971 along with Harry's mother, Lily Potter, as well as the Marauders. Right off the bat, tragedy struck Snape, as he was sorted into Slytherin while his love interest Lily was sorted into Gryffindor. At a young age, Snape began practicing the dark arts, fueled by rage stemming from incessant bullying at the hands of the Marauders. Snape was already a very talented young wizard and excelled in all subjects. However, the bullying that he received pushed him to a new level, and he became obsessed with being the best, the smartest. He wanted to teach those boys a lesson. While learning his primary course material at Hogwarts, Snape would scribble in his notebook and invent curses, charms, and potions. His own potions textbook, complete with his own creations under his alias, the Half-Blood Prince, contained many powerful spells that he created himself, which is no easy feat. Snape's biggest strength was his cunning. He could outsmart and deceive anyone if he wanted to, and the fact that he was able to play double agent for so long speaks to this. Snape, even after finishing at Hogwarts, never stopped learning, and it's his continual development that allowed him to achieve some extremely impressive magical feats. Number 2. Hermione Granger. Hermione Granger was one of the most talented witches of her entire year, and the entire school for that matter. In fact, Hermione may have been one of the most studious and brightest witches to have ever graced Hogwarts. She began attending Hogwarts at the same time as Harry, Ron, and given her affinity for learning and knowledge, it's no surprise that she became a talented witch. She had a thirst for knowledge, and through her dangerous adventures with Harry and Ron, became ready for anything and everything that came her way. She was well-rounded, competent, and a quick thinker, able to think critically under all kinds of pressure. Not only was she studious, she was just naturally very intelligent. Things came easily to her, and her inquisitive nature only meant that she stockpiled all manners of information. Hermione's only drawback, and perhaps one of the reasons that she isn't at the top of the list, was her narrow-mindedness and inability to sometimes see things from other people's perspective. She was almost too smart for her own good. Number 1 is, you guessed it, Albus Dumbledore. Now, I'm sure you saw this coming, and I think that regardless of how you value intelligence, Dumbledore has to at least be in your top 5. He is unquestionably one of the most powerful wizards to have ever lived, and it was apparent almost right away that he would achieve great things. While at school, Dumbledore's magical abilities consistently turned heads, particularly his skills surrounding charms and transfiguration. He also did exceptionally well on his newts and owls. Griselda Marchbanks, a professor working for the Wizarding Examinations Authority, remarked that Albus was able to do things with a wand that she had never seen before. Dumbledore had it all. He was remarkably wise, very bright, cunning, tactical, and even emotionally intelligent. He missed things here and there, but with such a curious and inquisitive mind, I'm sure he had a lot on his plate. And that's it for my top 10 list. Honourable mentions go out to Flitwick, Shacklebolt, Moody, and some of the Weasleys. I'm sure I'm missing some others, but this is all I can think of right now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. Until next time, you're Wizard Harry.